Hey there, and welcome to another AUA video. I'm Alastair Steward. I am a transformation partner with The Ready. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Sarah Koegler. Who's also a transformation partner at The Ready. And we're going to answer a question for you today. So the question is, how can leaders help themselves slow down a little in the short term to make faster progress downstream? Sarah, you want to kick us off?
Sure. This question really brought to mind lots of coaching relationships that we have with team leaders. And so I think it's an important one, and I'm glad we got it. For starters, I would say, leaders really set the tone. They set the tone for how whether a team is going to show up feeling like they're rushed and they're frantic and they're urgent, or whether the teams can show up in a way that is more conducive to doing great work together. So I think a leader identifying what they need to do to slow things down so they can make more progress downstream is a really good thing to be thinking about. And also, it's true that leaders sometimes have a different amount of information or context than the team does about the work to be done. And so sometimes that's something that a leader can use to their advantage to help with that slowdown. So a move that I frequently make when I'm coaching leaders around this is to start by saying, identify, before you dive into the work, identify all the things the team will need in this next sprint of work, whether it's a quarter or it's a specific project, to operate pretty autonomously, going in the right direction once they get started. Because we know if teams are working autonomously and they know what the goals are, they have the information they need, they're going to be able to work faster and faster in a productive and effective way. So we start with that list of things. And then we ask another question, what's the opposite of that? So what are all the things that could get in the way of the team working really well, a few weeks or a month down the line into the sprint? Think about what those things are. And then you've got your list of the strong foundation that you need to build for your team as a leader. And just to say, it doesn't need to be go slow on everything, because we know that speed and pace is really important, but we need to figure out where do we need to go slow so that we can go more quickly later on. What does that make you think, Alastair? Anything you would add?
Yeah, I think it's such a good point, Sarah, about creating, leaders creating the conditions for teams to be successful. And so I think for a leader who themselves is feeling the urgency, feeling a little bit more frantic, or like they're firefighting, whatever it might be, is to see if you can kind of work with that yourself a little bit, because we know that it's going to trickle down, right? If you're feeling that way, it's very likely you're going to show up in a way that's going to mean that your team is more likely to feel like that. And if that team leads other folks, it kind of just perpetuates itself through the organization. And similarly, if you have a leader above you, they probably are bringing a little bit of that as well. And so if you can do what you need to do for yourself to create even just a little bit of space for things to happen differently, thinking about what's driving this urgency for me, what am I afraid is going to happen, is there anything I can do to sort of contract or negotiate with folks that I work with to create a little bit more space for myself and my team? Even just a little bit of breathing room can make a big difference. And so one of the best things you can do as a leader for yourself and for folks you're responsible for is just kind of break the cycle. Just disrupt a little bit. If there's a culture or a cycle of urgency and sort of short-termism and firefighting, see if you can make a little bit of room in that for something different to happen. From there, I think one of the things that's really effective the leaders can do is create and share awareness of the opportunity cost. So it's not just a matter of are the urgent or frantic things the team is doing, are those valuable things? It's what are they not doing as a result? What's the longer term, potentially more strategic or impactful work that's not happening because of all the urgency? And how can you use that awareness to help yourself, help your team, and also help other leaders in the business that might be creating some of that urgency to, again, sort of disrupt some of those patterns or cycles to make more room for longer term work. And similarly, what we often find is a lot of the urgency and franticness can come from conflicting cross-functional priorities. So there might be several leaders who are asking for things from teams, and those things are either in conflict or at the very least just add up to a lot of work. And each of those leaders individually might think, well, it's not, first of all, it's super important. Second of all, it's not that much. But everyone has their own idea of what's super important, and that work can really compound and build up. So it can be critical to deconflict priority sets and holistically prioritize across those sort of demands on capacity to understand what's most important.
Thanks, Alastair. I love the reminder of leaders playing a critical role in being able to maybe be at a slightly higher altitude and look across and understand where all of these different urgent requests are coming from and help teams deconflict priorities and also hold up the mirror to say, remember, if we do this thing, what are we not doing? So that opportunity cost reminder is a really good one for leaders. Well, thanks. It was great to spend some time with you all today, and we look forward to talking to you again next time.